Yep. Welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. And joining us now is the athletic director for the Artesia Public Schools, Mr. Cooper Henderson. And good morning. Glad to see you today.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and it's an exciting time for Artesia Bulldog sports.
I was mentioning that earlier. Last night was the season opener for the softball team, and they had a tough time of it, but came out on top. But
Alamogordo had a real good pitcher, and we did too, and both teams played well, and we played a little better, and that was good. I thought it was a good start for the season.
That's right. And then baseball started last week, but they go to Carlsbad this week, but baseball's off to a pretty good start this year.
Pretty good start, and we're, I think as they kind of keep all the teams early in the season, it's kind of interesting to see how they're working. And but as soon as we started off talking about baseball and softball, we sure want to talk about next week's a big week for us when we have our home tournament, and we sure hope everybody, if you can, go watch the softball team in Cruces or the baseball team in Carlsbad this week. But if you are here in town, be sure next week you come out, because Thursday, Friday, Saturday we have our baseball tournament, and Friday, Saturday we have our softball tournament here, and be lots of see a lot of athletes and parents and coaches and people in the city. It brings quite a few folks to Artesia, and it'll be a fun time.
Oh yeah, looking forward to that. And then of course we can't forget the basketball team.
I'm going to say that's the big thing. If we're going to talk about something today, it's for sure. And again, we hopefully keep talking about it a little later in the week here when we finish up. But we're really excited about the basketball team. No doubt the environment at the pit last week against Lovington when we finished our regional playoff, it was probably one of the better atmospheres we've seen in a long time. I think it makes everyone really excited about us going to the state tournament, having a young team. It also just makes people excited about basketball program and where things are headed, and so it's really good. But I'm ready to go today. I hope a lot of other folks get a chance to make it up to Albuquerque this evening at 6 o'clock, and we'll be playing there at Highlands Gym, and our band's going, and we have a student bus going. So we're, I don't know, pretty fun times for our athletic programs, and particularly, again, when you get down to this part of the season, that's the most exciting part.
From a crowd standpoint, the game Saturday night, the Lovington game the week before, those to me seem like some of the biggest crowds ever that we've seen for a basketball game in that facility.
If not, it's been a while. But again, I think those were definitely a couple of the biggest crowds we've had, and I say it sure is neat when you fill a place up, because the sound is so much louder. And Lovington, give them credit too. They brought good crowd as well, and of course, players on both teams got after it, and sure had exciting games. And we hope to continue that. We're going to have a lot tougher chore tonight, going against the #1 team in the state. But it'll be. I know this group will just go out there and play hard and get better. And they seem to have a real team chemistry as far as just working together and being a good team. And sure proud of our coaches too. And so we're looking forward. And when we're talking about support too, I would like to say, Gene, there's not hardly anywhere I've ever been around, or well, I've been here forever, but when you just look around the state and look at things, our band is really exceptional in the sense that they want to go, they want to support, they do a good job with their particular competitions, but they definitely have, with their leadership through the years with Tom and now Lisa Dillon, they definitely have a mindset of trying to support others and getting them excited about what's going on. And so lots of things going on with getting ready for tonight and getting ready to go to Albuquerque today.
That's right. Well, from an athletic director standpoint, you got to coordinate the buses and the travel, of course, work with the folks there in Albuquerque and try to get all that coordinated, and hopefully they were good to work with there at Highland.
They were. They actually, their athletic director was very hospitable, and I think they're looking forward to it. They've got a nice sized gym, and they've got everything laid out, and places reserved for our band and things like that. They seem to be really looking forward to having a playoff game. And of course, their program, since they are ranked number one, is very looking forward to what's in front of them as well. And we hope to spoil that tonight.
Hopefully he'll be just as nice after the game as it's been so far. You mentioned the band, too. Aren't they? They're going to one of the Disney...
over spring break.
Yeah. So that... from an athletic director standpoint, do you get involved much in that aspect, or the band pretty well takes care of that?
And actually, when you mentioned travel, we're really blessed at our school district, and I know duties will probably be shifting around a lot, but Mr. Phipps takes care of the buses, and he works real close with Mr. Butcher, and we have, I think, 7 buses going out Friday. It's today and Wednesday was same. We've got choirs going. Just that is a big part of the getting people places. But honestly, I get to put in requests and don't have to deal with the actual getting bus drivers and buses matched up, and that is a trick and something our district does well, because there's a lot of school districts now that are having a hard time getting that done, getting enough bus drivers to get people to go places.
It's always a challenge, isn't it?
It is.
Trying to do that. There's other spring sports that are getting started this time of year, too.
You bet. And one we sometimes overlook when we're talking here, but next week, while we're having our tournaments going on, but our cheer team will be having their state competition, and no doubt they put in a lot of work and have had their district competitions in that last few weeks, and so they're working real hard at getting ready to go. Our tennis team has really played pretty well. Our girls' side particularly has looked pretty strong. They've been going to different tournaments the last few weeks, and I think for them, the coaches seem real pleased with the way the season's starting. They go back to Carlsbad, though, Friday this week and playing again over there. We have golf teams, mainly the JV teams are playing right now. We tend to play a lot of JV golf early and save the little better weather, hopefully, for varsity and qualifying for state. So varsity hadn't done too much, but the JV team, again, off to a pretty good start, and people are numbers are good in our programs, and that's what we want. We feel like participation is going to help the students not only in school but hopefully long range to learn to achieve their goals and do things. So we're pleased with where they're at as well. One thing we do need to mention too, our track team, the schedule says that we're going to Roswell Friday, and just yesterday they changed that. They saw that weather forecast for Friday, and track's a little easier to move around than a tournament or something. So anyhow, we're going to Roswell tomorrow for track instead of with our high school track. Junior high track went to meet last night. I haven't heard the results of that, but we did real well the week before. I have a lot of athletes in that, so we have lots of people going lots of places, and I say you'll get to see some home events here pretty soon too.
That's always exciting because of the great facilities that we have here that can accommodate a lot of folks coming out.
Right.
A lot of people at softball last night.
Right. And baseball, I don't know if we said that. Of course, you guys cover them real well. If you didn't get to go over, I got to watch because I didn't get to go last week in Hobbs, and I thought we had a good tournament there. And then this week we get to go to Carlsbad and get going again. So when you play those multiple games, that definitely gives you an opportunity to improve and to compare a lot.
Yeah. Baseball has been kind of interesting because they've been doing the last few years, they've had a lot of tournaments to start the year out. So last week at Hobbs, this week at Carlsbad, next week our tournament, and then they go to Rio Rancho for a tournament before they get into their regular stuff. So that's interesting. And I noticed, too, the district baseball and softball games are Tuesday, Saturday, and the baseball is a 3-game series on Thursday, Friday. That's kind of an interesting arrangement.
It is. Our we try to work things the way the coaches, the district coaches meet, and then they submit a schedule to the athletic directors. And that we're kind of, the ADs are a little bit anxious to see how that 3-team rotation, the 5A district Southeast has been doing it that way. And it does give opportunity where before we were playing 3 games at one site, it gives you a chance to play 2 and then go play 1 at the other site. And it'll be interesting to see how that works. I think the coaches feel like it also prepares you a little better, and I think these tournaments too, to when you get to a state tournament, to be prepared, to be able to have the pitching and have the players where they can play multiple days in a row. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Working with the NMAA, I know they were just as happy as everybody else was when the mask mandates were lifted. And is it starting to seem, from their planning and scheduling standpoint, to kind of getting back to a normal scheduling process? Or you
sure
laugh, but
it seems like it. I'm afraid to say anything. No, honestly, it's been so nice. It's been so great for the young people not to have to wear the mask, and us go just not worry about as many things as how you put people on a bus and how you do different things. That's taken one of the factors out that wasn't a real pleasant one. We're glad we got to do it, glad we got to play, but it sure made it a little difficult at times to manage everything. So no, it really has. And I think I don't know, it just seems like there's a real positive attitude among teachers, students, admin people about just school and coming to school and getting to go playing games. And just, I don't know, I think this spring is I guess you don't know what you miss sometimes, as you might say, until you have to do some things different. And it sure is good. It's really a lot of fun to have everybody going so fast.
Well, I know it was a challenge for them.
Yes.
It was a challenge for everybody, having to deal with all that. And they've got directives coming down and things that they're told they have to do. And then it has to filter down to the schools. So hopefully that's all behind us now, and we can move on. What else I was going to ask you? When you're doing like the game on Saturday night was an NMAA tournament game, from an athletic director standpoint, do you have to run that game any differently than a normal district game or regularly scheduled game?
Not a lot, but a few things. The announcing is supposed to be not partial, and you're supposed to also, I mean, you try to put in some NMA ads and stuff. The NMA does set the price. The one thing that's really changed for us this year, and it seemed like we did all right last week, and we might talk about it just a little bit too, is going to the ticketless entry,
the online ticket sales,
tickets,
I guess.
and we made sure everybody got in the door the other night. We had some people outside trying to help them if they needed help, and then we had 2 people inside, and so it moves smoothly there. But we really don't. What we're going to do, which we don't quite have, we're almost in place, but not. We're this spring with softball and baseball. We're going to work some ticketless entry, but we will always have the tickets there and paying for it. And I don't know. It seems like different people have different feelings, but we definitely know some people don't want to deal with the phone and the computer and all that to go to watch a game, and we want them to come too. So we plan on continuing offering a gate with a money box, and you'll be able to pay and come in. But we're also trying to see if there's interest in us trying to do both. And so this spring we're going to measure that a little bit and then kind of make a decision by fall. But we're a little bit slow getting that in place. Hopefully by next week we can do some of that, get it lined up.
You don't want anybody that wants to go to a game not to be able to go to a game.
That's correct. We want everybody, and in Artesia, it does seem like you have a wide spectrum. No doubt the younger folks kind of like just being able to put something on a credit card and show their phone and go, and it seems like it's a little more divided by age. Although I will say, one of the things that people don't think about is that, and of course I don't have younger kids today, but some of the ones when we were trying to help get in the other day, some of the ones that are a little harder were say your students in school that are trying to come watch a game. A lot of them don't have a credit card, and trying to get that all. So it may be both. Maybe it's both ends of the scale. That would just soon pay the money as work with a credit card. And again, the other part that I did have quite a few people mention to me, and I agree, but I'm not going to be able to change it. It's the way they do it, and it's the way they do it from what I can tell, colleges and everywhere else. They tell you the ticket is $10 or $5, but they don't tell you that they're going to add another $1 or $1.50.
$1.50,
whatever that particular company's doing to the price of the ticket.
Yeah.
And that kind of, I don't like that either. I wish they'd just be exact. This is what's going to cost
It's
you.
$11.50.
Yes.
Tickets $11.50 or
Right.
whatever it is. So, well, is there anything else we needed to talk about today, Coach?
I think that's about to get it, other than just coming back and saying tonight's a big night, and if you can't get to Albuquerque, then listen on KSVP, and I'm sure the folks we have going will be plenty loud, and maybe you'll be able to hear them between Joby and you guys talking a little bit. So
That'll be great. Looking forward to it.
And we appreciate your coverage, Gene. It's really, I think in our community, it really adds a lot to be able to watch most of the time and listen all the time and keep up. It helps our program, but it really helps what you just said. Our schools, we're excited about kind of things going back to a little bit of a more normal routine. And in this community, I think one of the best things we have going is that people are excited about our young people, and it doesn't matter whether it's what we're going to go see tonight or whether it's activity groups or whichever groups are doing a part of. I think the people in this community do a great job of taking pride in our young people, which in turn makes them want to do well and creates a great atmosphere. And we're looking forward to finishing out the school year that way.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank
Cooper
you, Gene.
Henderson, our athletic director. We're going to take a break and be back in just a moment.